Rumi's works, nor do I Hi, hello friends and strangers, welcome back to my channel, Pam Shenanigans, and for this video, it's that time of the year again. It's the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month for the month of May. AAPI celebrates creators of Asian American, and Pacific Islander ancestry. For us bookish people, we want to focus on AAPI authors by reading diversely for this month. Of course, this is the energy that we want to keep throughout the whole year, not just during May. So if you can, please read diversely. Asian Readathon is hosted by With Cindy, and you can find her announcement on her channel to know more about the Readathon. Her video has the complete details, but I will also put necessary and relevant links down in the description box. Asian Readathon has been pretty straightforward when it comes to the goals this past years, but this year's readathon comes with a twist. So let me read all the criteria / goals for the readathon. 1. Read a book written by an Asian author, pretty basic. 2. Read a book featuring an Asian character who is a woman and or older. Number 3, read a book by an Asian author that has a universe you want to experience or a universe that is totally different from yours. Number 4, read a book by an Asian author that has a cover worthy of googly eyes. Number 5 is read a book by an Asian author that has a high rating or is highly recommended. For the readathon, throughout the past years, it is also encouraged for people to combine goals or criteria to make things easier. Then the twist for this year is you can combine challenges and read in any order. However, each book you read should feature a character or author of a different Asian ethnicity. This is to encourage cultural diversity. As for the books that I want to read for Asian Readathon, I have a lot. That's why I call this video Asian Readathon TBR wishlist. Like, okay, it's usually TBR. It's usually called TBR, but the major thing is I am a moody ass reader. So I need to have a lot of options that would go well with whatever mood that I could be in. I have a lot of options, but it doesn't mean that it's my goal to read them all. Although, of course, that would be very nice as well to be able to read them all, but I won't put so much pressure on myself. And the way that I chose the books that I would be including in my TBR wish list were: 1, which Asian authored books I already physically own or have. Number 2, which Asian authored books I have advanced readers copies of / ARCs. And number 3, if a book could possibly hit a readathon or challenge that I'm participating this year. So I have a total of 14 books on my I have a total of 14 books on my TBR wish list, starting with The Kite Runner by Khaled Hossein. Khaled Hossein is an Afghan author, and I have a physical copy of the book for years now. I've mostly been seeing high praises for this book until now. As for the blurb, the unforgettable, heartbreaking story of the unlikely friendship between a wealthy boy and the son of his father's servant, The Kite Runner is a beautifully crafted novel set in a country that is in the process of being destroyed. It is about the power of reading, the price of betrayal, and the possibility of redemption, and the exploration of the power of fathers over sons, their love, their sacrifices, their lies. The next book that I'm planning to read is The Woman in the Library by Sulari Gentill, an Australian Sri Lankan author. I have a NetGalley arc of the book, which I'm very thankful and excited for because I absolutely loved Sulari's other book, which is After She Wrote Him. If you haven't read that book yet, please do check that out too. Then for the blurb of The Woman in the Library, the ornate reading room at the Boston Public Library is quiet until the tranquility is shattered by a woman's terrified scream. Security guards take charge immediately, instructing everyone inside to stay put until the threat is identified and contained, while they wait for the all-clear. Four strangers who happen to sit at the same table pass the time and conversation and friendships are struck. Each has his or her own reasons for being in the reading room that morning. It just happens that one is a murderer. Okay, moving on. Next book in my TBR wishlist is After the Inquiry by Jolene Tan, a Singaporean author. This book is a mystery contemporary book. As for the blurb, Police Sergeant Hafiz lies in a coma after a gunshot to the head. The investigation by Internal Affairs uncovered a game of Russian roulette gone wrong, and the case is now closed. But there are rumbles of concern in the ministry, and middle-aged civil servant Buntek, assisted by young colleague Nifia, is dispatched to take another look. And the next book on my list is Alinam by Mickey Ingles. I won a physical copy of this book from Kate at your Tita Kate's giveaway. One funny thing about this book is that it took me a long while to realize that Alinam backwards spells Manila. Yeah, it took me a while. So anyway, all shy and awkward Diego Domingo wants is peace, quiet, high grades, and maybe get noticed by popular it girl Sophia. But what he doesn't count on is falling into a portal into another world with her and his best friend Luis. In this strange city, magic is real, natives are oppressed, an aswang rebellion is brewing, and a tyrannical governor general rules the city with an iron fist. What's more, a mysterious figure from the Philippines past is leading a city-wide resistance and guarding the secret at the heart of this parallel universe. Up next is Trese Volume 2, Unreported Murders by Budjette Tan. I have a faint recollection that I've already read Volume 2 along with Volume 1 years ago, but I've forgotten what happened. And I have a physical copy anyway, so I might as well just read it again. Trese is a mythological and paranormal urban fantasy graphic novel series that is well loved by the Filipino community. In case you missed it, Trese actually has a Netflix series based on the graphic novel series. Next on my TBR wishlist is Please Look After Mom by Kyung Sook-Shin. I really bought this book before because Namjoon/RM of BTS has already read it. I am participating in their RM reading challenge this year, but this book isn't part of the reading challenge, so I might as well just read it while I still have a physical copy. This is a critically acclaimed contemporary fiction novel that tackles the self-sacrifice of mothers, told in alternating perspectives of the mom's daughter, the husband, and the mom. Next on my list is We Hunt the Flame by Hafsah Faizal, a Sri Lankan author. I've mostly read praises about this young adult fantasy book series, but I just haven't gone around to reading it yet. According to the website, We Hunt the Flame is the first in an epic fantasy duology by Hafsah Faizal set in a world inspired by ancient Arabia. So I'm pretty excited to read this because of all the raves that I've been seeing since this book came out. Next is The 40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak, a Turkish author. I've also had the physical copy of this book for years now, for so long, but I don't know why the font size just intimidates me whenever I pick this book up or just browse it. I don't know, it's just kind of small, so it intimidates me. Elif Shafak unfolds two tantalizing parallel narratives, one contemporary and the other set in the 13th century when Rumi encountered his spiritual mentor, the whirling dervish known as Shams of Tabriz, that together incarnate the poet's timeless message of love. I haven't read any of Rumi's works, nor do I haven't read any of Rumi's works, or do I have any idea about Rumi and Shams of Tabriz in the 13th century, so this would be a pretty interesting read for me. Next is a book that's part of the 12 books recommended by 12 friends challenge, and it's Some Are Always Hungry by Jihyun, a Korean-American author. This book was highly recommended by Karina over at Afar Pages. Some Are Always Hungry chronicles a family's wartime survival, immigration, and heirloom trauma through the lens of food or the lack thereof. Through the vehicle of recipe, butchery, and dinner table poems, the collection negotiates the myriad ways diasporic communities comfort and name themselves in other nations, as well as the ways the cuisine is inextricably linked to occupation, transmission, and survival. Next books on my list are Wicked As You Wish and An Unreliable Magic by Chupeco, a Filipino author. So I've already read Wicked As You Wish last year for Readathon, and I absolutely loved it. But since I got an arc of Unreliable Magic recently, I feel like I would need a refresher by rereading the first book first. These two books are part of 100 Names for Magic series that interlaces mythology, fairy tales, and modern magic formed into one fantasy adventure that also features the found family trope. It's really good. Please do pick up Wicked As You Wish. It's so good. Then next on my list is These Violent Delights and Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong, a Chinese author. I read These Violent Delights last January 2021, and I bought the physical copy of Our Violent Ends for my birthday this year. These Violent Delights is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in 1920s Shanghai, and I loved it so much, so I'll have to read it again, even though I'm already reeling and I'm already anxious to read Our Violent Ends because of how the original Romeo and Juliet ended. I'm still excited though. So I really hope I get to read this too this month. I am not pressuring myself, but I really do hope that I get to read it. Then the last book on my Asian Readathon TBR wishlist is Arid Dreams by Duanwad, Pimwana, a Thai author. And the blurb goes, in 13 stories that investigate ordinary and working-class Thailand, characters aspire for more but remain suspended in routine. They bide their time, waiting for an extraordinary event to end their stasis. A politician's wife imagines her life had her husband's accident been fatal. A man on death row requests that a friend clear up a misunderstanding with a prostitute, and an elevator attendant feels himself wasting away while trapped immobile at his station all day. And that's it. These are the 14 books that I really am hoping to get into this month for Asian Readathon. It's a lot for me because, as I mentioned, I am a moody reader, so sometimes even though I have a specific set of TBR for that readathon or for that month, I don't usually follow them, like not religiously. There may be other Asian authored books that I pick up for this month. Again, if you can, please read diversely, not just on the month of May, not just when we celebrate AAPI or Black History Month. So please read diversely. There are a lot of gems out there. There are a lot of amazing books, amazing authors out there. If you are participating in Asian Readathon, again, details are in the description box below. There are relevant and necessary links there, and do let me know what are you planning to read for Asian Readathon this year. And that's it, friends and strangers. Wish me luck, and I will see you on my next video / reading sprints. Whichever would come first. I will see you again soon, friends and strangers. Bye bye.